What is going on, everybody? So it's been about almost 24 hours since I saw Superman, and I'm giving you my full review. No spoilers. I managed to see Superman last night due to early access for Prime members at my local theater. But before I actually give you my review, I do want to state that I did enjoy Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just toss that out there. Some people may turn away from the video as soon as they hear that. But just letting you know that I love all DC content. DC is my first love. Obviously, you can tell from the background. I do love Marvel too. But I'm a huge DC fan. Grew up with the animated shows. Just I love DC in general. So just getting that out of the way. Superman 2025 from James Gunn. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Uh, Honestly, it feels like a live action Superman Adventures. And that's the best way I can describe it. I had a good time. I felt like the film, you know, had the action, had the comedy. I will say the comedy, I see a lot of reviewers saying it was overdone. Personally, to me, it wasn't. I felt like it was less comedy and less jokes than the Guardians movies that Gunn did. That's just my personal preference. Emotion was there too, man. There's a scene with Clark and Pa Kent and my father is no longer with us, but it was a really touching scene that made me think of my father, and I actually shed a tear during that scene, and so there's a few emotional moments in this film, but really this film really inspired hope. Like it is Superman. Like this movie was so much about, doing the right thing, being a better person, and having hope. Just doing the best you can. And Superman gives a great little speech about that towards the end of the film, which was really great. And I really enjoyed this film. Now, with that being said, there are a few issues with it I had. I think it was a good film. I think that if you are a comic book fan and you love seeing comic book movies and you love seeing, uh, the pages coming off of pages of comics in the movies, you're gonna love this. This is literally filmed like a live action comic book, in my opinion. I think it's that good, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I think the general audience, I mean, if you know general knowledge about DC or Superman, you might. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll like it, and especially if you like the Guardians films, I think you're gonna like this film as well. Now, I know there are some people that don't like the jokes. They don't like the humor. They don't like um the more colorful side of Superman. And there's a lot of color in this film. This isn't dark. This is hope. This is color. Some call it cartoonish. It's a DC movie, so James Gunn has set up the universe so that way, like it's literally a live action DC universe, so he can tell these stories and bring in other characters and do, I want to say sci-fi things, but do like comic book things. So I didn't have a problem with it. Now I know some people would want like a more realistic, modern version, such as like Zack Snyder's grounded films. I wouldn't say they were grounded, but you know what I mean. They were more realistic. They were less comic book and more real. That's not the case here. So again, I enjoy either or. That's just my preference and my opinion. Going back to what I was saying earlier, though, the only real things I had, one was the pacing. I felt like the film was a little bit too fast, especially during certain scenes. Some of the emotional scenes too. The film never really stopped. It just kept going, which is a good thing. It's about a 2 hour runtime, so the movie ran fine. But there was definitely I think some editing that went on behind the scenes, and it was rumored at one point that there were gonna be like time stamps or time cards. So just like day one, day two, such and such. And I think that was the case and they got rid of it because it feels like some of the scenes, the way they move on to the next sorry, the way they move on to the next scene or the next act, it feels a little bit off. Um Honestly, other than that, that was my only real issue, and it really wasn't even a big one. I mean, the whole time I was just glued to the screen having fun. Let's talk about characters. David, I thought he did great. Not a lot of Clark Kent in the story. There's more just Superman. He does play Clark a little bit, but it's not as much. And honestly, it's a Superman film titled Superman, so I was okay with it. Would have loved to see a little bit more of Clark, but honestly, what he did for Clark, and then when he became, switch it up and did the Superman thing, I thought he did great. Um, he did what he could. The script, like I said, the script I thought was good. Like, not good, but okay. No, I guess good. Like I said, I didn't have any issues with it, so I felt David did great. I think him going forward, if it lasts 10 plus years as our, future Superman, I think is gonna be great. Rachel as Lois was wonderful. She's a beauty, and she really was a great part of the film. And the Clark slash Superman and Lois relationship in here was one of the highlights. I wish he was highlighted a little bit more. Surprisingly, they do get like in the beginning of the film. Um, you get a good chunk of time with them, but I wanted a little bit more with them. But hey, I guess that's what's gonna be on for the future. Um, Lex, I thought Lex was great. Even though he was great, he wasn't as trying to put it. He wasn't as scary as I wanted him to be. I wanted him to be more vicious in his approach to going after Superman. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. Still, I thought Nicholas did a great job, and again, his character is gonna obviously probably be back for more future installments, whether it's in the Superman movies or in the DCU in general. So yeah, I'd be all for that. But I thought he did a good job. I thought our three new, for Clark, Superman, and then Lois and Lex, I thought they all did good. Really loved it. I wanted to see a good scene. I don't think, not to get, come to think of it, I don't think Lois and Lex have a scene together. So I would, we'll see how that works out in the future. But yeah, there's that. Going to side characters, I guess if you start out with the Justice Gang, honestly, Guy Gardner, I thought was Nathan Fallon did a fantastic job. Guy Gardner is just a prick in the comics, and he nailed him. Like that was good. Even the bow cut. I know some people look stupid, doesn't make sense. It's comic accurate, and if you don't like Guy Gardner, then you're probably not gonna like him. But I thought it was comic accurate, and I thought he killed it. He does it. He does it. He always kills it in every film he's in. Um, Shark Girl, who I was really looking forward to, she wasn't she might have been the weakest out of the Justice Gang, and I hate to say that. And I'm hoping maybe down the line she'll show up again and get maybe a show or be more used better. Um, she has a few cool moments, but overall she's like a young screaming teenager. Like there's nothing, she doesn't have an actual moment per se. So that was a bit of a letdown. But probably the biggest standout in the group, honestly, was Mr. Terrific. And Mr. Terrific had a great scene with him and Lois, and he stole the show, I think. And a lot of people have been saying that. I think a lot of people are going to see that. Mr. Terrific was great in this film. I tell you what, whether it's a show, movie, whatever, I hope to see all three of them return. Why it is a bit of a spoiler, I'm not gonna say what it is, but I will say that a certain area that the Justice Gang is in, I think will play a big role going forward. So I'm looking forward to that. See who else we got for side character? Oh, Jimmy. So there's a weird thing going on with Jimmy in the film, and I kind of got it, kind of get it, but it's just a bit weird seeing Jimmy on the reverse side. But Jimmy Olsen is actually kind of important to the plot because without Jimmy and his help, the movie would have stopped halfway, and Superman would probably never be seen again. More than likely, we could probably say. So it's interesting to see that. Uh, all the other, Perry White. Honestly, he only had like maybe 5 minutes total of screen time, if I remember correctly. He didn't do much, but I thought it was good. Cat Grant, same thing, not much screen time. And then Steve Lambert, I believe his name was. So pretty much the cast of the Daily Planet all did good for what they had, but they were smaller roles, obviously. Um, the villains, the engineer and Ultraman, eh, were good. I enjoyed them for what it was. You're gonna see in the beginning you'll see the scene. It's a fake out for a new villain, but you learn that the villain isn't who it is. It's somebody who is in the film. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Um, Overall, I thought the movie was great. Crypto, though, I will say, was the goodiest boy on film ever. I know some people think it's stupid. They don't like Crypto being a puppy running around destroying things, but it makes sense. And I enjoyed it. And I thought Crypto, every scene that he was in, he stole the show. Uh, there were a few surprise cameos in this film. So you'll see the movie and you'll see there is a cameo halfway through, which was like 30 seconds, maybe less. It was pretty funny, and then the big end cameo at the end of the film was nice. It was a nice little surprise. You kind of get to see into the future. Um, of the DCU a little bit for a certain character, and so I'm happy with that. Overall, like I said, I enjoyed the film. Just the pacing was just a little bit off for me, but other than that, the emotion was there, the action was there. For me, the humor hit. I was fine with it. It wasn't overpowered and over too much, and I felt like a lot of my audience who I was with, it was almost jam packed, sold out. Everybody laughed, had a good time. Uh, and a lot of people at the end when we were leaving, people were talking about it and enjoyed it. So, my rating, honestly, if I had to do this on a scale from like 1 to 10, I'd probably give this an 8 out of 10. I am going to probably rewatch it later this weekend. I want to re-see it again, but I want to wait 24 hours to let it sink in to really think about the film. Like I said, if you're a comic book fan and you love comic book movies, I think you're gonna go out, watch this, and enjoy it. If you're, more leaning towards a more realistic version of superheroes, you might enjoy it, but like I said, this is the full DC comics. Like this is the sci-fi, the fantasy, the you know unimaginable happening. It's not going to be grounded like Christopher Nolan's Batman, or a little bit less grounded like Zack Snyder's um, run on the movies. So, like I said, 8 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it. Let me know if you saw it yet. If not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the review. I hope you guys like it. Hit the like button and stuff. And if you see it when you get done seeing it over the weekend, come back. Let me know what you thought. I think it's gonna be a great time, a great movie, and overall, I think going forward for the DCU, it's in my opinion, there's a lot of hope. It was a very hopeful movie, and I think that's going forward for the DCU is hope. And I hope we just get a great universe with great characters and great stories. And we'll have to see what Gunn and the company can do. So, till next time, guys, stay safe, take care of each other, and as always, we will see you in the next episode of Josh's Comics.